Drink beer, it's good for you.
Hello and welcome to the video. In my last video I gave my first impressions of the new Grainfather G70 and I compared it with other systems on the market. If you have not seen this yet, then I suggest you watch this first and then this one after. In this video I'll share my first brew experiences with this new Grainfather G70 system. Before we get started, here is a quick look at my full disclosure disclaimer. If you wish to read it in full, then please pause the video now. I just wish to reiterate that this is a totally unsponsored video and I was not provided this unit by the Grainfather company. I will not be keeping this unit either, it is merely with me for evaluation. So let's move on now and I will share my findings with you. Firstly, I put the exact same recipe into both the Grainfather software and Brewfather and I got back some rather different numbers, as you can see here. On the left you can see the Brewfather numbers and on the right those from Grainfather. As you can see, Brewfather sees this as a 7.5 ABV recipe, whereas Grainfather sees it as a 6.9% ABV recipe. Other examples being the predicted IBU and EBC. In fact, all of the vital statistics are very different in both. I've been using Brewfather for over a year now and trust its evaluation highly. Brewfather has a fantastic reputation which is well earned. So naturally I use Brewfather for the actual recipe calculations, but I had to use the Grainfather software in relation to water volumes, as this is an area that Brewfather needs information on before a proper analysis can be made. As you can see, I brewed a black IPA here for 30 litres. I will be sharing this recipe in another video where I share a full guide to the black IPA style. The reason I chose 30 litres was because this was the best match for the Grainfather suggested minimum you can brew with the G70 with the standard pipework, which is limited to a minimum of 8 kilos of malt. This recipe uses 8.19 kilos of malt, so it should be ideal. This information is shared on screen and is from the Grainfather G70 FAQ on their website. So onto the brew now, and I had the G70 heating the mash water. Pretty odd that the app thought it had the final mash temperature at 64 degrees Celsius even though the target was 65, but the controller carried on to 65 anyway. So I added my grain to the preheated strike water, gradually stirring as I went. I went with the same grain crush that works on my original Grainfather and followed my usual procedure as you can see here. After this was complete I added the top plate, but as you can see here the overflow pipe is too high up. So quite clearly this minimum grain bill of 8 kilos using the standard pipework is wrong. I have 8.19 kilo of malt here, so I would estimate the minimum grain bill is closer to 9 kilos, give or take some. Due to this I can now expect a drop in efficiency. I will give the mash a couple of stirs to try and balance this, but let's see what happens. Then the next problem raised itself, much to my further annoyance. As soon as the mash started, the system dropped the temperature down to 62 degrees C and it took a whole 9 minutes of mash time to get this back to 65. Then 2 minutes later the system overshot and hit 66 degrees Celsius. I have to say I really did not expect this at all. Perhaps the PID algorithm still needs work, or perhaps some grain dust and debris was messing with the badly placed and unprotected temperature probe. It's hard to say. My wife came in shortly after this point asking what I was swearing about loudly. I can only imagine how much more angry I would have been if I'd have actually bought this system. The good news is that this is one of the things Grainfather can actually fix due to the Wi-Fi update side of this system. You just would have thought that this would not have been released in this state though. I live in Norway and this country uses a 230 volt European electrical system and I have it plugged into a socket on its own that is supported by a 16 amp fuse. Naturally this result will vary depending on where you plug it in, but it is standard practice that manufacturers test new products with a full range of electrical systems that they support. I do not have this problem with my 30 litre Grainfather using the Connect controller and frankly never have. The temperature did stabilise during the mash thankfully, but it took quite some time before it did. I was also pleased to see that the amount of foaming also settled down. Also on the upside, the pump supply with this system has an impressive amount of power. It is also nice to see that the system controls this at varying percentages during the mash. At one point I wondered if it would in some way help with efficiency, though within the Grainfather app they use a figure of 80% for mash efficiency, which is the same as the 30-litre system, so I guess not. After mashing was finished, the system heated up to mash out temperature of 75 degrees Celsius. What was interesting here is that it actually did this without any issue. It did not hang around as much as it did from 64 to 65 in going from 74 to 75 either. Furthermore, as a nice added bonus, it did not overshoot temperature on this step. Maybe it heard my swearing earlier and decided to behave itself. You never know. After mash out, I removed the overflow in my sink strainer and noticed that the pipework was still too high even after the mash. I cannot see how Grainfather made such an error without knowing this was too little for the standard pipework. But oh well, I guess they had their reasons. So I added the lifting pipe, which I should mention is certainly heavy duty, probably more heavy duty than is actually needed, and gave the basket a rise. I find that this basket is not as smooth to rise up as other systems, including the original Grainfather. Perhaps it will just take a little getting used to. Once the top of the wort had drained, I started my SPARGE. I could not help but notice that on the top plate was a fair amount of grain. I had heard from other people that had tried the G70 that they had the exact same experience also. It is not an issue, but clearly a system trait. After the SPARGE, I found that a large black bin liner was perfect for adding to the grain basket. I then flipped the grain basket with the bin liner attached into a bin for disposal of the grain. This worked well. Just make sure you use gloves and keep some distance between your body and the hot basket, and all will go well. Another thing I want to mention, and now seems as good a time as any, is just how awkward this sight glass is on this system to read. You have gallons on the right hand side and litres on the left, with the wort in the middle, which is somewhat awkward even at high volumes. This is something other users have mentioned, and was even mentioned in one of the sponsored videos on YouTube, so then you know it has to be bad. Frankly, it is probably easier to lift the basket and take a look like those other systems that do not have sight glasses. Now I know this sounds rather crazy, but it is true. After sparging, I noted that the system had already done some heating, but it was certainly taking its time heating to the boil. Once it hit 99 degrees, then it seemed to take forever to reach 100, and then another problem revealed itself. Within just 2 minutes of hitting 100 and starting the boil timer, the system dropped back down to 99 again. I am very glad to get this on video, and here you can see what happened next. Shortly I'm going to show you footage from different parts of the boil. There are various things to take note of here. Firstly, that the heating element is always at 100% power as shown here. Secondly, that the target temperature is always at 100 degrees Celsius. And thirdly, that the actual temperature is shown here and is constantly switching. And lastly, the part of the boil that this occurred. This boil was for 60 minutes, and you can see in this example that there were 42 minutes remaining and 18 minutes had elapsed. In this video footage here you will see the so-called boil phase from 47 minutes remaining until 45. This footage is playing at normal speed, so it has not been slowed down or sped up. From this footage keep an eye on the areas I just pointed out, and you can also see how the wort is behaving. Another thing to mention is that I checked this system before I started brewing with it, and actually no calibration of temperature was needed, meaning that the temperature was accurate straight out of the box. You will also note that this system has a pretty weak boil, even though this is less than a half-size batch for a G70. At first I did wonder if this problem would just sort itself out, but it just kept doing the same thing throughout the entire boil phase. Clearly the current PID algorithm is not working as we saw with the mash steps, but during the boil this is much worse. Frankly, this is starting to feel like a prototype again. I was part of the beginning of the Grainfather beta testing of the G70, and frankly it seems like they totally ignored my findings and also suggestions along with everyone else's. I was not planning on keeping hold of this G70 for long, and I hope they manage to fix these issues within the time that I have this unit for evaluation. Once again I find myself disappointed with Grainfather. I often get questions from people asking me why the Grainfather company seems to have changed radically in their approach and the way they conduct themselves generally. Not only with things like the smart app fiasco last year, but melting power plugs, poor communication with the community over issues, and customer service that paints a different picture than was experienced previously. So for those of you that are still in the dark about this, I will explain. Back over 18 months ago now, this company was at the top of the game, but sadly the main shareholder retired and the company was sold to the BSG Group of America. Then all of a sudden things started to change. This change of ownership is clearly visible on the Grainfather website. You just need to know where to find it. Simply go to the bottom section of the Grainfather.com site where there is a blank section at the bottom and you will see the terms and conditions section under customer care. This whole section was changed when the change of ownership took place, so you might want to take a look at how this changes things also as a starting point. So as you now understand, this Grainfather 70 litre system is a release of the new ownership, not the company that brought you the G30 originally. Getting back to the original topic now, and no doubt you have noticed that for the most part of this time this system has not been behaving as you would expect during the boil. Naturally this is something that can be updated via Wi-Fi directly to the controller, but you would think that by this time it would have been perfected already. Before this brew I gave the full system a good clean to get rid of manufacturing oils, so I did not really need to send boiling hot water through the already cleaned counterflow chiller, but I did so anyway just to see what effect it would have on temperature. Within less than 1 minute the temperature dropped to 95 degrees Celsius. It took the G70 quite some time to heat back up to even 99 degrees C, so I decided to pause the boil timer and add some more boil time on. At 0 minutes the heat was killed and I added some hops and this timer popped up. You can see that on screen it tells me that I'm doing a hop stand and offers a countdown leading to an alarm at the end. It was then time to test this new counterflow chiller and it seemed only right to use my Grainfather conical fermenter, which to date is my favourite Grainfather product. I am happy to say that the counterflow chiller at least works very nicely. As suspected it will not rival aftermarket counterflow chillers, but for an included with the system product it's pretty decent. Trouble is, for the price you pay for this entire system, at this stage at least, this does not look like very good value for money at all, just based on build quality of the system. Here is some footage showing the wort going into the fermenter. It is very clear that the G70 has a much more powerful pump compared to the G30. It seems a little more powerful than the Brewzilla 65 litre pump at this stage, but not by much. I have never used the Brewtools pump past 75% because it would simply mean splashing out of the fermenter. A little time later and I was way past the halfway stage. This conical fermenter is 30 litres in total and the wort volume was supposed to be 30 litres also, so my plan was to stop a little short on this. After the rather lacklustre boil I was expecting there to be more than 30 litres of wort, but to my surprise the end volume was closer to 28 litres, as you can see here. What an odd brew day this has been. Perhaps I should name this black IPA Disastrous Start. Here is a look at what was left in the G70 after transfer. There are 200 grams of hops here and I'm happy to tell you that I experienced absolutely no slowdown in transfer due to the new filter design on the G70. Removal of this filter was pretty easy, but keeping all the hops on the filter sadly was not. We will come back to why this is a problem soon. I transferred the hop filter over to my bath for cleanup and then did the job of transferring the hop cake into a bag here. As you can see it's quite a messy job, but someone's got to do it, and I made sure the door was locked so my wife did not see this part for obvious reasons. It all cleaned up just fine of course, but I'm sure you know the scenario. When you remove the hop filter then this small filter replaces it in the middle of the bottom of the G70. This is in place by design to stop clogging of the pump. The G70 has a bottom tap that when used in conjunction with the pump is designed to remove all liquid from the system. As much as I can see the thinking behind this, it has to be said that it does somewhat invite trouble. Both the Brewtools and Brewzilla systems, for example, have the same functionality and yet do not use a pump. They are both problem-free in this regard and simply use gravity. Getting back to this brew, and here is what I was left with after taking out the hop filter. I have the small filter in place and the pump is actually engaged here, and you can see that nothing is going anywhere. Here is the item of issue. This needed to be cleaned off many times to get this actually emptied, and I ended up removing a lot of the trub by hand also. You would have thought that with a pump this powerful behind it, it would have simply been no problem, but clearly it is. After much time was spent looking at this problem, I was amazed to find out that the very small amount of debris that you see on this filter here is enough to choke the pump. This is because the small pipe underneath is exactly this size in circumference, and the pump's suction pulls the filter into a seal, meaning that this filter sits very tightly to the pipe below. Here I am recirculating back into the G70 to show this effect. Watch the flow rate here and me moving the small particles away from the middle to increase the flow rate. This is a very poor design oversight, to say the least. The flow rate that you see here is very typical when you manage to unclog the small filter, having removed all trub due to this design. My advice is to literally remove all the trub from the bottom by hand before you start using this filter. Having said this, once you are mostly trub free, there is not much point to the filter anyway, so why bother? Once you are past this stage, then cleaning is very much like cleaning any other all-in-one system on the market. Grainfathers say this system has a CIP or clean in place system, which is technically true. The trouble is many people see this as automatic, and that simply is not the case here. You will need to get involved for sure. A new part of this system that will need your attention during cleaning is the sight glass. Supplied with the system is a special part that you screw on to attach the silicone tube for cleaning. This seems to work well, but do keep in mind that these are very small parts and would be easily lost if you are not careful. After what can only be described as a very eventful brew, I took stock of the issues with this system. Some of this, like the minimum grain bill size, was very irritating, and despite me stirring manually twice during the mash, I fell short of my predicted gravity by 5 points, even though I only got approximately 2 litres less than planned. But at least this area is now partially tested and the truth is out there. Problems like the PID algorithm can be, and I'm sure will be, fixed with Wi-Fi updates in time, but this cleaning filter is something that people are stuck with. You will need to just accept that when you use this product you will need to clear out all the trub by hand, and the use of gloves is highly advised here, unless of course you can find something that does the job better. Even so, there are some good aspects to this system, like the counterflow chiller and the potential of the controller. I want to be very clear that I can by no means fully judge this system just based on one brew. I hope that by the time I feel for another brew with the G70 that the software and firmware has some good updates. I will follow up with a final review later on once I have done some more brews and testing. If you would like to discuss this or any other beer or brewing related matter, then feel free to join this channel's Facebook community group. We have over several thousand members now in a busy, friendly and mature group. This now brings this video to a close. If you have any questions, then please let me know via YouTube or Facebook. I do hope that you found this video to be useful, interesting and enjoyable. If appropriate, then please like this video on YouTube, and if you've not done so already, then please subscribe. I regularly post new content. Happy brewing!